Yeah, I think we had no choice. No, it was choiceless. I think it was all meant to be. It is all His grace that has brought us together. And let us commit ourselves to stay on this path and then stay together and continue the Gita home study. We still have a long way to go. We're still in chapter 3. Let's resolve and take that commitment to complete all the 18 chapters. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudirayet. So yesterday we stopped at shloka number 7. I'll just read one para before that. So the word vishishyate in this verse does not mean simply superior. To say that the karma yogi is far better does not mean that the mithyachara mentioned in the previous verse is good. The two are completely different. One person is sitting, dwelling on things, being lazy, and the other person is active and has a karma yoga attitude. Because a karma yogi accomplishes everything, he or she is far superior to the other person who is simply a hypocrite. Not merely superior, there is no comparison at all. The karma yogi accomplishes the ultimate purushartha, moksha, but the hypocrite achieves nothing, even in a relative sense. This being so, Krishna said, Niyatam kuru karma tvam karma jayo hya karmanaha sharira yatra pichate na prasidhyeda karmanaha. Tvam you, niyatam, what is to be done, karma, action, kuru, do, he, because, akarmanaha, when compared to inaction, karma, action, jayaha, superior, akarmanaha, due to inaction, te, your, sharira yatra, maintenance of the body, api, even, cha, and na prasidhyate, na prasidhyet, would become impossible. Do action that is to be done, because action is superior to inaction. And due to inaction, even the maintenance of your body would not become possible. Would not become impossible. I think that is a typo error there. Even the maintenance of your body would not become possible or would become impossible. The word niyatam refers to karma that is enjoined by the Shastra. By telling Arjuna to do those actions that are to be done, Krishna was not suggesting that the Shastra would always tell him what was to be done. There are, of course, many situations that the Shastra does not cover. But because every situation is a part of the given universal order, the situation itself dictates what is to be done. Thus, you need not be told that a particular action is to be done at a particular time. Given the situation, what is to be done becomes very obvious. The karma that is obvious in a given situation, that which is proper, is also niyata karma. It is niyata either by the order of dharma or because it is enjoined by the shastra. In any case, it is the karma that must be done daily, occasionally, whenever. Krishna told Arjuna to perform action because it is definitely superior to doing nothing. If you do not know the Atma and do not do karma either, nothing will be accomplished. Instead, all that will happen is that the body will become sick and the antakarna, the mind, will become even sicker. Thus, doing karma is definitely superior. The word Sharira Yatra in the verse refers to the journey of the living body. From birth onwards, it has been journeying. Even though it reaches certain stages, there are still stations to travel to, like a train that has not yet reached its destination. The journey of living, Krishna said here, does not take place if actions are not performed. You simply cannot live your life. Even mere survival is not possible. And by mere surviving, you are accomplishing nothing. Life is not for mere survival. Even a frog manages to survive. Every living organism has the instinct for survival, and it does survive for as long as it can. Since anyone and anything can survive, survival is not considered to be a human accomplishment. Life, human life especially, is not just for surviving. It is for some accomplishment. This is why the fourfold Purusharthas, human ends, security artha, pleasure kama, righteousness dharma, and liberation moksha are mentioned in the Shastra. Since there are these ends to be accomplished, we have various desires that impel us to attempt to fulfill them. To just survive, one must at least eat. There is a Swami who is said to be such a great sannyasi that he does not use his hands even for eating. However, he does open his mouth so that someone else can put the food in. Obviously, he does not understand that opening his mouth is an action and closing it is another action. To say nothing of chewing, swallowing, and preparing for the next mouthful. The same Swami will not talk either. He does nothing, and people call it Naishkarmya, which is not. Even eating is not possible if you do no action. And to live, you have to get your food somehow. If you will not use your hands to eat, someone else has to put the food into your mouth. When others have to cook your food and put it in your mouth, there is action. Earning the money to buy the food and materials needed to prepare it is also action. Since survival cannot possibly be without action, do what is to be done by you. By telling Arjuna to perform action, Krishna was telling him not to be afraid of action. Arjuna's problem was that his karma was the cause of his being bound. When you do karma, you produce punya and papa, and because of this, you are born again. Again, you will perform karmas, which again produce punya and papa, because of which you will be born yet again. This is why karma is said to be the villain in the life of samsara. Because karma alone is the cause for you being bound, for your being bound, you conclude that you should not do karma. Karmas, I like the term where Krishna tells Arjuna not to be afraid of karma. Karmas are inexhaustible. The cycle of life can be looked as through the model of karma. But if we do so, the model must be taken in its entirety. Suppose you say that by not doing any karma at all, there will be no problem, no punya or papa, and therefore no more birth and death. The cessation of this cycle of birth and death is what is meant by liberation, moksha. Therefore, by not doing anything, you will accomplish moksha. Let others study the Gita. You do not need it because by doing nothing, you can gain moksha. To this, Shankara replies elsewhere by asking further questions. He asks, what about all the karmas standing in your account from previous births, sanchita karmas? Who is going to fulfill them even if you do nothing in this birth? Secondly, when did you decide not to do any more karma? Until you were 40 years old, all you did was karma. What about that karma? It also must be fulfilled. Furthermore, can you remain for even the briefest period of time without performing karma? When you have the I am a doer notion, you cannot but do karma. In fact, you cannot remain for even a second without performing some action or the other. And if you are not occupied with doing right karma, it will take you no time at all to do wrong karma. Not doing karma, therefore, is nothing but a pipe dream. There is no such thing as gaining moksha by not doing karma. Of course, karma is the cause for you being bound. No one ever said that karma liberates. Karma definitely binds the jiva. In fact, it is the third strand of a three-stranded knot. Ignorance is the first strand. Ignorance in the form of the notion, I am a doer. Once this ignorance-born notion is there, you cannot avoid the second strand, desire or karma. If you think that you are small, limited and mortal, you will want to be big, full, immortal. All these are desires. Because you do not want to be limited by ignorance, limited by the knowledge that you have limited knowledge, you do not accept ignorance. This means that you want to be free of the limitation of knowledge and ignorance, which is another desire. There is also the desire to be happy, to be free from unhappiness, inadequacy, lack. These desires arise because you do not know that you are already full. When this ignorance is there, desires will also be there. And of course, they will be according to your limited knowledge. Therefore, even your wants are not very big. You may want this and that, but they are all small wants really. Then, in order to fulfill these wants, you perform karma, which produces the punya and papa that create new births for you. Given this desire, given this ignorance, desire, action cycle, you remain bound by karma. Karma yoga releases you from the hold of raga dveshas. The same karma, however, while not itself a releasing factor, can assist in one's release if it is done with the attitude of karma yoga, as we have seen. By performing karma in this way, one is released from the hold of raga dveshas, likes and dislikes. Therefore, the same karma becomes a means, a sadhana. In the next few verses, the karma done in this way is being referred to as yajna. It becomes yoga as one gains Shuddha Antakarana, a pure mind. With this pure mind, the person gains the knowledge that is moksha. This then is the order. Beginning with the next verse and ending with the 16th verse, Krishna then talked about karma as a means leading to moksha. I'm reminded of the 18th chapter, I think 47th verse, is it? Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam. And swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. So do what is to be done with an attitude of karma yoga. So we don't need to be scared of doing karma because it will bind us with papa and punya. So the three strands that bind us are ignorance, desire, and action. Ignorance is that I am the doer. That is the first and the base ignorance. And because you think I am the doer, that prompts you to have the desire. Because you do not know that you are full, you think you are small, inadequate, you have limitations. And therefore, in order to be full, free, and uh, uh, free from the bondage, you tend to go pursue all kinds of things. So the desire then sprouts. And from desire comes action. So we are bound by these three-stranded knot.
This is kind of similar to that attachment and the desire attachment, that cycle, right?
Yeah.
Not fulfilled and then it keep on going.
Correct. That is, they just talk about dhyayatyo vishayan pumsa. So the moment you start thinking of an object, you start thinking about it, then the desire sprouts. But before that, wherever do you get that desire? It's because of ignorance.
But this karma, so the action, he says he'll do the action, but then it's not with this kind of an attitude, right? The ignorant, I am the doer, that kind of an attitude.
See, when you're doing karma yoga, even when you're performing karma yoga, you cannot completely eliminate that doership. Because see, you're doing it with an attitude of Ishwararpana Buddhi and
You read
Prasada Buddhi.
the ignorant desire action cycle, right? So
Correct.
what is that action meaning there? Like that is also karma.
That is karma.
So that is still put us binding to the.
It will be binding as long as you're not doing it with an attitude of karma yoga. But if you're doing it with an attitude of karma yoga, like Swamiji said, the same karma will assist you in your progress. It will assist one in the sense that it will create that antakarna shuddhi.
Yeah.
So it will help you let go of your raga dveshas.
Haryo, Brahmaraji, so when the karma is done without any doership, then it becomes like a sadhana, correct?
Yes, I think without doership, correct. But then in a subtle manner, you cannot kind of completely remove the doership here. No? Because if you look at it in the broad sense, yes, you're not doing it. You're doing it for the sake of Ishvara. With that in mind, there is that little subtle sense of doership. There is that Dvaita Bhavana is there, that I am different from Ishvara.
Yeah, but that's the
I-ness
same.
is there. So you can't really completely negate the doership. Although you do it with no ahankara, without that dambakara and all that is not there. You're doing it with a sattvika mind. But that little I-ness is there. That the smell and the taste or the fragrance of I is there. You cannot completely remove that. Isn't it? So,
It's a point
attitude is what?
That Kartrutva Bhavana is basically, yes, you are doing it, but that when you're doing it, you are as an instrument that you're not, you give you're not taking that ownership for that karma. That's how it is that what I thought that's what it meant by that karma yoga.
Yeah, and without any desire. There is no like what we discussed in the previous chapters, like a desire for some result. So
Yeah.
desirelessness, pure mind, I don't know how I am able to uh, I think letting go of doership and letting go of desire and performing the action will be like an offering to Lord.
But when you actually look at it, no, Bela, without desire, there is no action. So without a desire for the result, you cannot even start any action. So what is meant by, if you remember the Karmanye Vadikaraste in chapter 12, chapter 2, 47th verse, he says, Karmanye Vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So without a desire, you cannot even begin an action. So there is a desire. You cannot, you cannot say there is desirelessness. So you will do what is to be done. That is what it means. That is what he's harping on. So in order to do what you have to do, that desire, of course, is there. And the desire for the result is also there. But what is the discriminating factor here in the attitude of Karma Yoga is that no matter what the result, you will take it with that equilibrium attitude, with the same attitude. You will not be perturbed. You will not neither get too elated if you get what you desire, what you expect. Neither will you be depressed if you do not get what you expect.
Correct, like Dhanyavad, Prasad Buddhi, right? Whatever
Prasada buddhi.
comes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So without desire, there is no action possible.
So it's like being in present moment, doing whatever you have to do.
Have to do. You're doing what is to be done with an offering, attitude of offering it. You're offering it to the divine. Like China had mentioned those 4 aspects of yajna, no? Your whole life itself is a yajna. That is karma yoga. Like that, what is that verse in chapter 4? Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagnau Brahmana. No, so everything you're offering it as an offering. If you're cooking, you're doing it as an offering. If you're cleaning the dishes, you're doing that. If you're, uh, you know, uh, if you're doing your work, your regular job, you're doing it as a yajna. So much so that I think in the 4th chapter, even there are so many kinds of yajnas that Bhagavan describes. Even your breathing, your pranayama itself is a yajna. So when you consider everything as a yajna, it elevates you. It does not, then that karma becomes purifying. That is how it brings about that antakarana shuddhi. Slowly that doership is all, of course, it is not as strong as someone who is not performing karma yoga. It's not rock solid. Your doership is very light. It's very thin. It's thinned out. But there is that trace of doership there. Even when that goes, and that goes when it comes, when that knowledge dawns that I am the non-doer, that Atma, that Naishkarmya, that's when it happens. Naishkarmya, like we read yesterday and day before, Naishkarmya is the state of actionlessness, and that is equivalent to knowledge. Knowledge is Naishkarmya, it actually is, it's simultaneous. The once you get the knowledge, you automatically get into that Naishkarmya state. So with this pure mind, the person gains the knowledge that is moksha. This then is the order. Beginning with the next verse and ending with the verse 16, Krishna then talked about karma as a means leading to moksha. Yajnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangas samachara. Yajnarthat karmanah anyatra. Other than the karma performed for the sake of yajna, with reference to other karma. I am this person, lokaha, the one who is enjoined to do the karma, karma bandhanaha, the one who is bound by action, kaunteya, O kaunteya, tadartham, for the sake of that, mukta sangaha, being one free from attachment, karma, action, samachara, perform. This person who is enjoined to do action is bound by karma other than that performed for the sake of yajna. That is, other than the action performed as an offering to Ishvara. For this reason, O Kaunteya, being one free from attachment, perform action for the sake of that yajna. Yajna is a very important word in the Vedic literature. Even though the word means a sacrificial ritual, it is in a wider sense, yajna means every action of one's life is performed as an offering to Ishvara. In an act of giving, there is a giver, something given, and a recipient. In an offering such as a ritual, one more factor is involved, the place of offering, the altar. Thus, there is the altar of offering, the recipient who is invoked in the offering, the one who does the offering, and the offering itself. Generally, in any offering, there is a word like swaha or namaha, meaning I offer this salutation. For example, when we say Namah Shivaya, it means unto Lord Shiva I offer this salutation. And this is an offering. When this expression is repeated over and over again, it becomes a japa yajna. Even the food you eat is an offering, although most people do not think of it as such. If, however, you look upon the digestive system as digestive fire, the food offered into that fire is an offering, and the altar of this offering is the digestive process, prana itself. Therefore, before eating, the food is offered to the Lord in the form of prana. Nothing in the creation is looked upon as something separate from the Lord. The Lord is a conscious being, Chetana. Only in a conscious being does the activity of digestion take place, and the food offered is not separate from the Lord. This is why the 15th chapter of the Gita and the shloka, Brahmarpanam, are repeated before eating. The 15th chapter shloka is that Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritaha Pranapana Samayuktaha Pachamyannam Chaturvidham. So these are the two shlokas that we normally chant before we eat, right? And then Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi. These verses make it very clear that everything is the Lord, including the food we eat and the one who eats it. Therefore, eating is an offering. In a fire ritual, the altar is the fire, the turf. The oblation is offered unto the fire. The offerer is called Yajamana, and the recipient of the offering, Devata. Usually, when you offer something to another person, you expect reciprocal treatment. You expect something in return from that person. Giving and receiving gifts during the Christmas season is a case in point. You offer a gift to another, no matter how small, and that person offers you something also. All offerings belong to the Lord alone. Because giving gifts at Christmas time is a convention, a beautiful convention, you have to offer and a return is expected. It is not the gift you are interested in. It is the care and consideration, the remembrance of the other person that counts. But when we offer something to a devata like Indra, reciprocity is not a factor. As part of the yajna itself, I say in so many words that what I am offering belongs to Indra. It does not belong to me. This is the mantra that we say when we make an offering to Lord Indra. Indraya Swaha, Indraya Idam na mama. Offering unto Indra, this is now Indra's, not mine anymore. In this way, everything is looked upon as yajna. As we shall see in the 4th chapter, the breathing process is a yajna. The breath that goes out is called prana, and the incoming breath, when you breathe in, is called apana. When you breathe out, the prana is offered to apana, and when you breathe in, the apana is offered back to the prana. In this way, breathing is considered to be a yajna. Those who are committed to the practice of pranayama, control of the breath, are not really doing exercises. They are performing a yajna. Prana being Ishvara, the Lord. In the same way, all exercises and yogic postures, asanas, are considered to be yajnas. In fact, each asana has its own devata. Indian music is also a yajna. Every defined melody, raga, is considered to have a head, trunk, and feet. Certain Indian paintings depict each raga with the form of a goddess. Thus, even ragas, melodies, have their own presiding deities. Any one aspect in the creation can be looked upon as an aspect of Ishvara, and that aspect becomes the presiding deity or devata. Thus, in any given object, you can invoke the total or an aspect of the total. If it is an aspect, it is called devata. Any functionary, such as the eyes, ears, nose, and other organs, has a presiding deity, devata, which is but Ishvara. The sense organs as Ishvara. If you look at Ishvara as the material cause of the whole creation, the eyes themselves are Ishvara. And if you look at the Lord as the efficient cause, the Lord becomes the presiding deity for the eyes. Without this appreciation of Ishvara, this bhakti, there is no karma yoga. This appreciation is the very attitude that is karma yoga, in fact. Thus, karma yoga is bhakti yoga. We are told very clearly that there are only two yogas, karma yoga and jnana yoga. Thus, for the sake of moksha, there are two possible dedicated lifestyles, jnana yoga and karma yoga. Either one pursues knowledge to the exclusion of all else, or one performs karma with the proper attitude, which implies Ishvara, along with one's pursuit of self-knowledge. Bhakti, appreciation of Ishvara, is common to both the sannyasi and the karma yogi. A sannyasi, jnana yogi, is not without devotion. In fact, this person's entire life is dedicated to the appreciation of Ishvara. He or she wants only to understand what Ishvara is. The knowledge being Ishvara, nothing but Ishvara is there. Ishvara is the very pursuit. Thus, a sannyasi is not a non-devotee. A sannyasi is also a bhakta. Because two words, jnana yoga and karma yoga, are used, it is commonly thought that there are two separate pursuits, pursuit of knowledge and the pursuit of karma. This misunderstanding leads to the introduction of a seemingly third pursuit, the pursuit of bhakti. But how can this be? Suppose a sannyasi is one who renounces all action. Karma yogi is one who performs all action. And then there is a third person, a bhakti yogi. Does the bhakti yogi not perform karma? And if not, what will he or she do for bhakti? To worship Ishvara, certain rituals have to be performed. Whatever the person does to express his or her devotion is an action, a karma. This is karma yoga, in fact. All that is being done is karma. No, the bhakta might say, I only sing Hare Rama. He or she may think that singing Hare Rama is bhakti. But if it is an action, a karma performed by the organ of speech and therefore called vachikam karma. And if while singing, the person also claps or dances, the karma becomes a kayikam karma, an action performed by the limbs of the physical body. Therefore, the karma is not only oral, it is also physical. In fact, this kind of bhakti can be so physical that it can totally exhaust a person. Bhakti yoga is karma yoga. Bhakti is the recognition of Ishvara, and any karma done for the sake of recognizing Ishvara is yoga. Even if you meditate mentally, it is bhakti because the Lord is involved. It is also a karma because you're doing it with your will. Any action that comes of your will and is invoking someone is a yajna, a karma. Therefore, the expression bhakti yoga is to be taken as karma yoga, bhakti being a common element. Similarly, hatha yoga is a discipline which is a sadhana or indirect means for moksha. Any discipline is either for antakarna shuddhi, purification of your mind, or for the integration and coordination of the physical body. Because there are a number of disturbances and many kinds of deficiencies possible in a person, various disciplines can be helpful. Any discipline is yoga if the purpose is very clear. If not, it can be a problem. Even karate can be yoga, as it is not done to make you feel invincible, as long as it is not done to make you feel invincible. The purpose is not to kick someone, but to gain a certain degree of fitness and coordination. When there is commitment to Ishvara, everything becomes yoga, a means. There is no discipline or activity that we can say is not yoga if the Lord is involved. In the 4th chapter, we will see how many types of activities there are, and that with these, everything is covered. Who is doing it, the person's attitude, the purpose for which an activity is being done. All these make any activity a sadhana, a yoga. It is important to understand then that although yoga has been divided into many different types, the Shastra makes it clear that there are only two, in fact, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. For the Jnana Yogi or Sannyasi, knowledge alone is yoga because the person is absolved from all duties. It is not that the Jnana Yogi does not do any karma whatsoever. It is just that the person is absolved of all obligatory duties. That is the Nitya Naimittika karmas. The sannyasi is a non-competitive person, one who does not compete in the society in any way. Only then is the person freed from all obligatory duties to pursue knowledge. When sannyasis start incense factories, for example, they have to compete with other incense manufacturers. They have to project the product, proving it to be better than other products. Only a person who does not compete in the society can be called a sannyasi. Thus, there are only two yogas, and bhakti is common to both of them. All karmas become yoga if they are done keeping Ishvara in view. A yajna is any karma which is done for the sake of Ishvara. It can be any ritual, worship, or prayer, each of which involves special karma performed for the sake of Ishvara alone or only. Bringing up a child is also a yajna and is an example of an indirect offering to Ishvara. I am here in this creation and the child is in my keeping. The child has been given to me as prasada and is to be brought up by me. This is a proper attitude and is therefore karma yoga. Ishvara is recognized and the order involved is seen to be Ishvara. To see things in this way is not an ordinary situation. A person has to be sensitive so that the order that is Ishvara is as tangible as a wall or a rock. This kind of appreciation is what bhakti actually means. the real meaning of bhakti. Bhakti is not just chanting, although chanting is also bhakti. It is the appreciation of Ishvara and the order. This appreciation is what makes you sensitive and gives meaning to your life. Recognizing Ishvara is to be able to see more than meets the eye, more than what the eye sees. Bhakti is an appreciation of what is behind and what is in front, the order within the order, seeing everything as Ishvara. And this is also exactly what is meant by karma yoga. By any karma, you are either directly or indirectly related to Ishvara. Karma involves role play. Something is expected of you. This action is to be done by you because you are placed in this situation. Therefore, you do it. This is how Ishvara's karma works. Otherwise, why are you in this place at this time? Why are you not elsewhere? There is a meaning here. You are in this place at this time because there is something to be done by you. This is the law of karma. So this is so beautifully explains how we are all here in this place right now, right? So it is not anybody is doing, it is just the law of karma. It is all Ishvara's grace and it is his.
One paragraph again.
Yeah,
By
Swamiji mentioned so well about even the child, so beautiful.
Yeah. You are put in this creation for a purpose, and fulfilling that purpose to the best of our ability is, and with an attitude of offering it as a yajna bhav, is what is karma yoga. And identifying what you are here for, that is our swadharma, isn't it? I think ultimately it comes to that. You see that there is a meaning and that the situation is not a random one. Everything seems to have a cause and an effect. There is no randomness in the creation. To use Einstein's words, the Lord does not play dice. Even if he did, being omniscient, he would know exactly how they were going to fall. Otherwise, he would not be Ishvara. Therefore, he has no need to play dice. Situations do not happen randomly. They happen because they have to happen. If this is understood, you will find that everything, even relationships, become meaningful. To worship the Lord by doing what is to be done by you definitely requires that you see more than the eyes can see. You have to appreciate what is beyond the hands that perform the action, not merely the desire, but what is behind the desire. You should appreciate that the desire itself is born of Ishvara. This kind of appreciation is bhakti. In this way, the performer of action worships the Lord indirectly.
Could you please read again, Brahmaraji? Such
I
a
know, even I
powerful.
did not get this properly.
It's
To
very
worship,
beautiful.
to worship the Lord by doing what is to be done by you definitely requires that you see more than the eyes can see. You have to appreciate what is beyond the hands that perform the action, not merely the desire, but what is behind the desire. You should appreciate that the desire itself is born of Ishvara. This kind of appreciation is bhakti. In this way, the performer of action worships the Lord indirectly. I think, as I understand it, like if you take the Zoom meeting, for instance, one thing is that all of us have the desire to learn, to know Bhagavad Gita and learn. That is why we are here. But looking beyond that is to say that it is Ishvaranugraha that we are here. It is because of Ishvara that the desire itself is born. Probably that is what it means. I don't know. Maybe someone else can throw a little more light on this or their understanding.
It is, I mean, the line that is written, you see more than the eyes can see. It is so beautiful that, I mean, it's beyond expression, Brahmaraji. It is so beautiful. Uh, there are so many things what we see actually, which is mithya and gaun. But still, when you see the hand of Ishvara behind those things, you will be amazed and you will feel just the wonder. Wow, only.
Yeah. That yatah pravrittir bhutana ena sarvam idam tatam. So that which pervades everything. So there is nothing else apart from Ishvara. So there is only one. So,
True.
isn't it? So he pervades the manifest world. He pervades the Jagat. Although this is Mithya, he pervades the whole of Jagat. So he's there in the speech, he's there in the thought, he's there in the action, he's there in the desire.
Everything happens as per Ishvara. He controls everything, right? In terms of that.
It is like the dream. In the
Yeah.
dream, you are pervading in and through the dream. There is nothing other than you.
Yeah. So that there is, I don't know, this is on the third, which chapter we read it. I mean, you guys were reciting it today, right?
This is the third chapter.
No, I know this is third chapter, but the action itself, it's the three things like worship, austerity, and one more, sacrifice or something like that. You don't give up those three things.
Yajna dana tapah karma na tyajet.
Yeah, somewhere we were chanting today, I think.
Chapter, yeah.
Yeah, so which chapter is that? I'm sorry.
18th
Eight.
chapter.
Okay. So there, so the action itself, is worship. One of the one way to do, like you were saying, like cooking, all that, even day-to-day actions, everything that we do is an worship. So that is one way to look at it. And then this kind of appreciation is bhakti, like that is happening because of Ishvara. Is that how you feel that? Then you have that.
Yeah, see, that differentiates a person who's ethical, dharmic person, from a karma yogi. A dharmic person need not necessarily, believe in Ishvara or take Ishvara as the Lord that provides with everything. So that differentiates. That concept of Ishvara, therefore, is so integral to the attitude of a karma yogi.
But the Ishvara is also like Brahman, right? I mean, this.
Yeah. What we talk, Ishvara here is Atma, Paramatma, Brahma, Bhagwan, all of that. Yes.
Ishvara means, I think, the meaning about Brahman.
They say Ishvara is, okay, maybe I don't know whether it's correct definition, Brahman plus Maya. But Maya also is a part of the, means Maya also has Brahman. There's everything, nothing but Brahman. But for easy understanding, they say Ishvara is Brahman plus Maya. Brahman is the supreme reality and Maya is this Jagat, Mithya, but still we can call that as that.
Brahmashraya, Maya.
Yeah.
Brahmashraya, that's what. So Maya also is a creation of Brahman only.
when we say to worship the Lord, that means you're talking about Brahman, right? I mean, I'm sure Ishvara is also part of it, but when we say Brahman, it includes all.
To be more specific, I think it's the creative, the creator is Ishvara. So to say, but actually speaking, it's like, for instance, if you take your dream, if the dreamer is Ishvara here, if I'm getting it right.
Correct.
So there
This
is
is
no,
Ishvara's dream.
yeah, it is Ishvara's dream. So there's no difference between the waker and the dreamer. The only difference, that thing that has caused the dream, is your sleep. So if you consider Maya as that causative factor, that sleep, so the Brahman is the waker and the dreamer is Ishvara. There's no difference between the dreamer and the waker.
Okay, so this is
That
dreamer.
practical purpose is, if we understand Ishvara as Brahman, that's enough. Otherwise this Maya thing will come in and cause a lot of confusion.
It
So,
is.
yeah, we leave it at that. We don't want to tease it out there. This kind of appreciation is bhakti. In this way, the performer of action worships the Lord indirectly. So even if you're getting a desire to do something, you are not taking ownership for the desire. It is the Lord coming in the form of the desire. I mean, that's the ultimate bhakti, isn't it? I think
Yeah,
if you look at all these bhakti saints, that is how they live their life.
yeah, that's where we did this karma yoga part, right? Like we are
Yeah.
not, we give the results of the action to the Ishvara.
Thus, there is a twofold yajna, direct and indirect. When you perform a karma, a yajna, in the form of a prayer, there is a direct relationship between Ishvara and yourself. You either invoke Ishvara in the form of a devata, a deity, or you invoke him as the Lord straight away. Either way, there is a bhakta, a devotee, and there is a yajamana, one who performs the karma. You can do the karma yourself, or it can be done by someone else, by proxy, as when you ask a priest to conduct a ritual on your behalf. Either way, the result comes to you, you alone, the yajamana. Direct and indirect yajnas. Here, I just would like to remind ourselves of the devata. The concept of devata is a part of the divinity. Whole divinity is Ishvara, and a part of that representation is a devata. That is why in, I think, chapter 4, Bhagwan says, whoever you pray to, ultimately the offering comes to me alone. So you may choose to pray to, say, Ganesha or Muruga or Lakshmi, anyone, but it ultimately comes to me alone.
But
So
Devata is again part of Maya, and it is out of Prakriti, right? It
yeah,
has
there's no difference between Prakriti and Purusha here. No, there's no difference between, they're one. Actually, they're one. It is only an outwardly creative aspect is Prakriti. But when you look at the Advaita aspect, there is nothing. There's only one. And in that sense, all the devatas are just part of the ultimate divinity,
including us.
including us, of course, including us.
I love the way Swamiji said about even the ragas. Each raga is like there is a deity, right? It's so beautiful, that was also.
That is why he specifically mentioned Indian music. I was wondering why he mentioned Indian music specifically, not music in general. So, because Indian classical music has this, um, every song is based on a raga.
We have the whole Veda, right? Samved is particularly for the whole.
Yeah. And even Carnatic music, for instance, every raga, when you look at this music therapy, it actually, every raga has a different effect on the different chakras in our body. So that's a different topic altogether. But yes, the raga is considered a devata. Direct and indirect yajnas. Karma that invokes a devata or Ishvara directly becomes a direct yajna. Any other karma done with an awareness of Ishvara becomes an indirect yajna. Because the yajna, direct or indirect, is done for the sake of Ishvara, Ishvara is also called yajna. This section of the Gita provides a beautiful description of bhakti that converts karma into yoga. Everything can be seen here, the order, the ecology, and so on. At every level, there is an ecology. The ecology of thought, the ecology of karma, the ecology of action. Ecology is an excellent word, having brought into light a certain understanding that did not exist previously. Ecology is now a commonly used word because there is necessity for it. Pollution now being a recognized problem. Ecology is recognized here at different levels. All the devatas, all the elemental forces are doing their jobs and should not be disturbed. Because you are a conscious being with a free will, even the ecology of the divine forces can be disturbed by your actions. If you are abusing your free will, you are disturbing the ecology of dharma, which is going to affect all humanity. Whatever is disturbed is not going to remain without producing undesirable results. This is quite alarming. There is an order.
Very powerful paragraph.
There is an order, and wherever there is an order, there is ecology. Here, Krishna was talking at the dharma level. Dharma alone should govern your free will. Once freedom is given to you, you can do whatever you want. There is no hindrance whatsoever. If freedom can be hindered, it is not freedom. Therefore, because you have a free will, you can commit homicide and even suicide. Since there is the possibility of abusing freedom at different levels, there should be an ecology with reference to the freedom given. It seems that the only ecology we are concerned about disturbing is the ecology of the flora and fauna. This attitude comes from human selfishness. We tend to think only about how we are going to be affected by this or that, but there is so much more to ecology than this. Ecology is the very awareness of one's actions and how they have an ever-widening circle of reactions. When a stone is thrown into clean water, it does not just drop to the bottom. It creates ripples, which keep on widening and widening into bigger and bigger circles until finally they lash upon the shore. Similarly, any action creates extended circles of response. This only brings to light how aware we should be. Not just even our thoughts.
Yeah, it reminded me of our Gurudev telling, no, the butterfly effect.
Yeah. Right. Should we continue or we'll stop here? I think we will stop here. I think, yeah, because it goes on for quite some time. 7:30 now. Um, we will continue with disturbing the order from tomorrow. So anyone wants to share anything or summarize? So the ecology of the whole creation is so beautiful, and it is based on dharma. So you're given freedom, but this freedom is not licentiousness. It's not like unlimited freedom. It comes with that responsibility of maintaining the ecology of creation. So all our actions, it's not just taking care of the environment, is ecology. Yeah. To begin with, the best that we can do is to be happy. Then you are like doing a whole big difference to the world just by being happy. And you can create those ripples of happiness around. That is why we call, in the artistry, we say creating waves of happiness, right? Because one unhappy person creates that unhappiness circles around. So if we are able to be happy in the moment, that will be like contributing to maintaining the ecology of the world. Yeah. All right.
Happy person is an asset to the divine.
Yeah.
And the sad or depressed person is a liability.
Isn't it?
Jai Gurudev. Yeah, this is the wave of happiness has happened in our group while chanting. One started chanting, two came in, third came in, fourth came in. It became a wave of happiness. I took it that way. Wonderful.
Yeah. So we'll conclude here today. We'll meet up at the same time tomorrow. I think we'll have some more time now. So we'll do for 1 hour, maybe 1 hour, 15 minutes. And the last 15 minutes we can use for summarizing and discussing. Or 1 hour of reading and half an hour of discussing, either way. So let's do it for 1.5 hours. Huh? So 5 a.m. to 6:30 Bahrain time, and you can translate it 7:30 to 9 India time. We can meet up. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
Dhanyavad Brahmaraji. I feel so blessed. This our chapter 3 right now, and the ending, and the way Nanaji took up the whole sequence of not only the chanting but even the Bhagavad Gita. I mean, it is everything has fallen place as per the grace of the God only. I mean, it is so beautiful.
Correct.
Beyond expression.
Yeah.
Dhanyavad.
Jai Gurudev, Doctor.
We are like in the tapestry of Bhagavan. They're all like those little pieces, jigsaw puzzle pieces. He just put them in place.
Yeah, even this third chapter, what we are reading, every word is, I mean, it is getting digested so well.
Yeah, that is true.
On
Shitaji,
behalf, on behalf of all of us, I would like to chant this Yadaksharam on my own when the Zoom will be.
Go ahead.
No, I don't have the text right now. I'll chant on my own, but it will be for all of us because we have most of us made mistakes while chanting Rasva, Dirva and pronunciation. Okay. Jai Gurudev.
What is that? Yeah, what is that you're saying?
Kshama Yachana. Kshama Yachana. See, while chanting, we made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, of course. It's wantingly wanted to make mistake. I mean, things happen, so we are learning that that's how it is. I mean, for me, it really hurt me in the sense I did try my best to practice, but then this thing happened. I couldn't. I don't know. I mean, what else I can do? I can only try
Keep
chanting.
practicing. Yeah, that's the only way forward, because the more you chant, the more you get perfect.
Yeah, so this is my only, starting. Hopefully, I'll graduate next year. Soon. Thank you, Dr. Brahmara, for
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that you put in this
Let's
work.
not give it up. That's what I would like to say.
9 months now, right? And
Yeah, I think we started end of March.
yeah, that was really nice that, as Nana said, he finished all of that. It's really so grateful to him as well as to you. Thank you so much. And with the God's grace, we'll complete this self-study also.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's a long way to go. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we could, I don't know.
We are very lucky. We are very lucky we got connected to Brahmaraji actually. Because of her only we could get Nanaji, no? So the
Yeah.
main channel is like very grateful to Brahmaraji. I don't know how come you connected to us and invited us for this.
Let's not
great.
forget, the director is there. Ishvara
Yeah.
is the director who's directing all of this. We are all only nimitta matras. We are all just instrumental causes. The actual director is sitting up there. And he's having
No,
the
it was
last.
a big yajna actually. Not a easy. Shivadhanusha, you have really, you are holding it for all of us. Thank you so much. Thank you is not enough, I know, but that is the only language we use, so I am using these words.
I know. Nice to be grateful, and it's grateful to all of you for having been there as a cohesive group. It is I think the group energy that has taken it so well, the commitment that has been there. So it all went so beautifully in a flow without any gap. There were some gaps in between, but we were able to.
That was God's wish.
I wanted to share this when I told Nana that we'll start this Bhagavad Gita. I had told him, because both my sisters wanted him to stay in the US for some more, to actually stay back there. Although he wanted to come back to India. He actually had to travel to India way back in July or August. But then that's when I told him, I said, at least stay put till you complete the Gita. With a wish that at least that will extend their stay for a little longer. This was an internal ploy of all the three sisters. So it so happened that a couple of times the journey had to be postponed for some reasons. And then right now he's actually completing the whole Gita, and then they're traveling back to India. So the little wish was fulfilled.
That's such a beautiful desire.
Yeah.
Such wonderful.
That's it. Okay. So we'll catch up tomorrow then. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. Dhanyavad.